everyone. So today we will take a look at porcupine fish and boxfish, as well as a little bit about their close relatives, the pufferfish. Porcupine fish are in the family Diodontidae, from the order Tetradontiformes. There are 18 species within the family, and it includes fish typically known as blowfish, balloonfish, and globefish. Pufferfish, in contrast, are in the family Tetrodontidae and contain 193 to 206 species. One significant way to tell a porcupine fish and a pufferfish apart is by their spines on their body. Porcupine fish have quills or spines that are constantly visible. When they are not blown up, they tend to lay flat against their body, and then, upon inflation, these spines will stick out, making them nearly impossible for predators to eat. Pufferfish, in contrast, do not have these visible spines and tend to have a more smooth appearance. Some species of pufferfish, while blown up, can however have short, prickly bumps, like the one in this picture. Porcupine fish are generally slow-moving as an order. This is due to their stiff bodies. Because of their inability to dart through the water, they rely on the ability to puff up to avoid predators, which we will come back to. So, why are they so stiff? Well, the spines of the porcupine fish are composed of nanocrystalline hydroxyapatite, collagen, and water, which is the same material as scales. These modified scales develop with the skin layer and then harden. In this video, we can see how the spines are still attached to a dried skin layer of the skeleton, and then, as he lifts, we can see how these spines are not connected to the bones of the porcupine fish, showing that they are in fact scales, which we get a better look at right here. Porcupine fish, of course, also have the ability to blow or puff up, which also makes their spines stick out. They inflate by buccal pumping or sucking in water into their stomachs. With their lack of ribs and modified gill muscles, they are able to swell to 3 or 4 times their usual size. Their stomach is part of the reason why they are able to do this behavior. The skin of the stomach is made of collagen fibers that are arranged into parallel rows that allow their stomachs to stretch out and then return back to its regular shape. It is important to note that pufferfish and porcupine fish puff up by sucking in water and then later expelling it. In captivity, a keeper must be careful to not give these species an opportunity to intake any air while they are puffing up, as they cannot expel the air and will likely die if too much is taken in. This video will show a pufferfish puffing up. It used to be thought that while the pufferfish was inflated, they were unable to breathe. However, research on saddled pufferfish suggests that they can use their gills and may even retain 5 times more oxygen compared to their resting state. However, puffing up takes a lot of energy, and swimming becomes even more difficult while they are in this spherical shape. Some pufferfish have even been observed resting for up to 5 hours after puffing up. To also deter predators, they contain a poison called tetrodotoxin in their internal organs such as their ovaries and liver. It is also known that tetrodotoxin is situated in the skin and can potentially be secreted while they are stressed. While in the wild, this is often not an issue, in the confines of an aquarium with limited water volume, this secretion can lead to death in both themselves and other tank mates. This toxin is produced by bacteria that live in their gut and is also found in some of the foods that they eat. Tetrodotoxin is made up of 11 carbon, 17 hydrogen, 3 nitrogen, and 8 oxygen molecules. It works by being a sodium channel blocker, which inhibits the firing potential of neurons, preventing the nervous system from carrying messages and thus muscles from contracting in response to nervous stimulation. Tetrodotoxin is extremely toxic. In mice, for example, the median lethal dose was 334 micrograms per kilogram. In comparison, cyanide's median lethal dose for mice is 8,500 micrograms per kilogram. Another unique adaptation that these fish have is they possess teeth. The family name Diodontidae actually means two teeth. These teeth in both jaws are fused into a parrot-like beak that they use to crush hard-bodied prey such as mollusks and sea urchins. This is a crucial part of their diet, as these teeth are continuously growing. It has been found in captivity if they are only given soft diets, their teeth will become overgrown and lead to the point where the fish cannot open its mouth wide enough to be able to eat. In some occasions, in captivity, the teeth may need to be filed down periodically to keep a healthy length. However, if a healthy diet, including mollusks, is kept, teeth should naturally wear down to a natural length. This video shows the teeth on a porcupine fish as well as its jaw strength. It also shows how they are messy eaters, which can affect the cleanliness of your tank. Diodon hystrix, most commonly known as the porcupine fish, prefers to live alone. Adults typically linger near the shore in areas that offer shelter, such as shipwrecks, caves, reefs, and ledges. It can grow up to 36 inches in length, but the average adult tends to be around 16 inches. Porcupine fish tend to be shy in the wild, typically retreating if approached. Juveniles are pelagic until they reach about 8 inches in length, after which they become benthic. Porcupine fish are distributed circumtropically in marine environments. It is thought that this wide distribution is due to the pelagic stage of the eggs and larvae. The eggs drift with the current and hatch after about 5 days. The larvae will then have large amounts of yolk that they will continue to eat. Juveniles are typically associated with large clumps of seaweed called sargassum and may be consumed by dolphins and billfish. It is unknown how long this pelagic state typically lasts, but once juveniles reach a certain length, they travel to shallower waters to become adults. The striped burrfish, or Chilomycetera shofi, is found mostly in the tropics of the western Atlantic Ocean, from Brazil to Florida, as well as along the Atlantic coast of North America, and sometimes as far as Cape Cod. Burrfish are covered with short, heavy spines that are always erect, unlike most other porcupine fish which have movable spines. Like other porcupine fish and pufferfish, it is able to inflate its body by taking water into a ventral extension of the stomach. The striped burrfish has a diet of small fish, barnacles, snails, crabs, and clams. They have even been observed swallowing hermit crabs whole. They are also known to occasionally graze on algae in seagrass beds or coastal reefs. Like many other porcupine fish, burrfish are not great swimmers, swimming mostly by using their pectoral fins and not flexing their body at all. They also may squirt water out of their gill openings, which then jets the fish forward. The spiny pufferfish, Diodon holocanthus, also known as the long-spined porcupine, freckled porcupine fish, balloon fish, and porcupine puffer, are small porcupine fish that can be found in the tropical zones of major seas and oceans. Like others in their family, they have beak-like teeth and thus feed on mollusks, sea urchins, hermit crabs, snails, and crabs. These puffers are uniquely shaped, often being described as a football with a tail. They have a robust body and a flat face with protrusive lips. Their eyes are large and set forward on their heads. In youth, spiny puffers float on sargassum rafts and can form small groups. However, adults are solitary. If needed, spiny puffers can be kept in a group, provided they are all of relatively close size and are all introduced at once. Any other tank mates must also be of a similar size and temperament. One issue that spiny puffers present is that they are notorious for biting through tubing and even heaters, so one must be careful and considerate when placing equipment in the tank. Spiny puffers are one of the most popular species for fish-only marine aquariums, as they can be comical and have amiable personalities. Keepers have reported how these fish are intelligent and quickly learn to recognize people who are important to them. Saddled toby, Canthogaster valentini, can be recognized by the dark saddles on the side of the body and stripes on the snout. It occurs throughout the tropical Indo-Pacific and is most common on shallow, sheltered reefs. Saddled tobies need a varied diet of meaty foods like squids, krill, and clams to help wear down their ever-growing teeth. They also feed on algae. Tobies are not strong or fast swimmers, mostly relying on their pectoral fins. To make up for this lack of speed, they have developed a symbiotic relationship with bacteria such as Pseudoalteromonas tetradonis. These bacteria produce tetrodotoxin, which then protects them from predators. The tetrodotoxin is then secreted in the skin and tissues of the toby, making it lethal to many species of fish. They are also able to inflate their body to about twice of their normal size when threatened or alarmed. Their toxic skin makes tobies a great model for Batesian mimicry by a species of filefish, which is similarly colored, allowing it to benefit from the toby's low risk of predation. One unique characteristic of saddled tobies is that they organize themselves into harems that are dominated by one mature territorial male and contain one or more territorial females. Some immature individuals of either sex may also be present in the male's territory. These social groups, while dominated by males, have been found to be defined by the female fish living in the territory. Whenever a mature female dies or is removed in any way, the mature male's territory will shrink to only include the domains of the living females. The family Ostricidae is a family of squared fish often known as boxfish, cofferfish, cowfish, and trunkfish. These fish are notable for the many bright colors that they can be, and their hexagonal or honeycomb patterns on their skin. Their hexagonal, plate-like scales are fused together in a box-like carapace, making them stiff and often slow. Since they are unable to swim away from predators, they instead secrete poisons from their skin and into the surrounding water. Their hard carapace also makes them difficult for predators to eat. Boxfish can be aggressive towards other members of their species, and other aggressive species or cleaner species can stress them out enough for them to release their toxins into the water, potentially killing themselves and their tank mates. It is often recommended that additional mechanical and chemical filtration is added when keeping a boxfish. The longhorn cowfish, Lactoria cornuta, is a type of boxfish that can be found in the Red Sea and the tropical Indo-Pacific. The name Lactoria means milk cow, a name given to them due to the large spines above their eyes that resemble the horns of a cow. Their species name, cornuta, in fact means horned, making their entire scientific name horned milk cow. On Pambin Island, the local belief is that when the land got separated, the cows on the island metamorphized into these fish. The cowfish relies on a diet of sponges, worms, mollusks, small crustaceans, and fish. They employ a hunting tactic where they blow jets of water into sandy substrates to push out invertebrates to then eat. They are also omnivorous and feed on the bottom layer algae along with various microorganisms. Cowfish also have no pelvic skeleton, which means that they lack pelvic fins. However, to make up for this, their tail fin can be the same length as their body. They, as well with other boxfish, employ a method of swimming called ostriciform locomotion. This is when the caudal fins move side to side and cause the longhorn cowfish to look as though it is hovering. Cowfish are generally slow swimmers and can be easily caught by hand. When they are captured, they make a grunting noise. They are also able to produce hum and click sounds by using muscles that are connected to their swim bladders. The cowfish's horns are mostly hollow and composed of mineralized collagen fibers. They are thought to have evolved to make them difficult to swallow and thus make them less desirable to predators. They also use these horns to ward off predators by charging at them. In the event that one of these horns is damaged, they can grow back within a few months. Another distinction that sets them apart from other fish is the lack of gill cover, which is replaced by a small slit or hole. The cowfish forms harems with 3 to 4 females in each one. The females spawn shortly after sunset or during the day when there is a large amount of cloud cover. The spotted cube boxfish, also known as the yellow boxfish, Ostracion cubicus, is typically found in East Africa and the Red Sea, through the Pacific to the Ryukyu Islands, and east to Hawaii and Tuamotu. It can be recognized by its box shape and its bright yellow coloration. They were first described in 1758 by Carl Linnaeus himself, and its name means little box. The yellow boxfish inhabits coral and rocky reefs, and eats benthic invertebrates as well as algae. They are a solitary fish with a lively temperament. Generally, they don't pay much attention to other species, but may show aggression towards conspecifics. Another interesting part to the yellow boxfish is that they are protogynous hermaphrodites, meaning that they are born females, and as they grow, individuals change sex to become males. The yellow boxfish in this video is also a great example of ostriciform locomotion. The yellow boxfish is also known in the automobile industry, as in 2006, Mercedes-Benz unveiled its Bionic concept car, which was inspired by the yellow boxfish. They assumed that since the boxfish is fairly mobile and has good agility, the shape of the boxfish was aerodynamic, and thus a car that shape would be aerodynamic as well. Scientists suggest, however, that the boxfish's agility is due to its aerodynamically unstable body and the manner in which they use their fins for movement. The humpback turretfish, also known as the camel cowfish, Tetrosomus gibbosus, is a species of boxfish found in the Indo-Pacific region, often originating from Sri Lanka. Like the spotted boxfish, they are hermaphroditic, being born female and some individuals becoming male as they grow. The camel cowfish live in shallow waters with muddy bottoms and can often be seen near shallow seagrass beds in their home range. It can also be found in coral reefs. These fish are also part of the Leseptian migration, which refers to the migration of a marine species from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, facilitated by the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869. Since the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea have similar salinity levels and temperature ranges, it allows for an easier transition between these bodies of water. It is believed that the Leseptian species migrated due to the changing climates. The camel cowfish is now considered an invasive species in the Mediterranean Sea, as it is not included in its native distribution. However, they are considered an established species, as their population is growing and individuals have been found in many regions of the Mediterranean Sea. In summary, we talked about porcupine fish and how they differ from pufferfish. We also discussed many of the porcupine fish's adaptations, like their ability to puff up, their toxins, and their teeth. We also touched on some unique behaviors regarding mating, defense, and predation across species of porcupine fish. We also discovered the boxfish and its many quirks, as well as what makes them so aerodynamic, unlike the car built in their shape. Overall, we discovered many new cool species and got a look into the lives of porcupine fish and boxfish, both in the wild and in captivity.